But when I heard that, after I just stand up and holding the knife in my hand, then I just shouted to this man, "If you touched my son, I want to kill you."
Jihyun, thanks so much for joining us. It's fantastic to have you here. Before we get into it, can I just ask you in your own words to introduce yourself?
Oh, yeah. My name is Jihyun Park. I was born in North Korea, and I escaped North Korea twice. So now I am human rights activities in the UK. So today I want to share about North Korea human rights issues to audience.
Fantastic. And I think the thing that's striking about your story is escaping North Korea not once, but twice. What stands out to me as interesting in the first place is that North Korea is famously a very controlled place and somewhere where there's a degree of brainwashing that goes on from a young age. So how do you get to a point where you've been raised in a place that is brainwashing you? What triggers wanting to escape? Did you always know that you didn't like it and that something was wrong? Or was there a specific event that made you think there's a different life outside this?
I didn't know much about outside countries because North Korea never bring the outside informations into North Korea. So still the North Korea same. And that they have got only one TV channels and only one newspaper. So that is describing the only Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, and nowadays Kim Jong-un's issues. Not say it's a daily life, the example is UK's food crisis and, supermarket food is limited or something is human issues.
So were you aware of the outside world, or do they completely limit any information? Or do they publish propaganda and do they say it's dangerous and frightening and we shouldn't go out to there?
It's North Korea always said that North Korea is a socialism country and this country is best country, not only socialism countries, it's all over the world, it's best countries because the reasons Kim Il-sung is president and Kim Il-sung is God. Yeah. And we only, until the 1980s, we only saw that some is socialism countries. That they visited North Korea, leaders visited North Korea, and they celebrated Kim Il-sung's birthday, something that. But after it started in 1990s, it's limited. They not published a lot of news. It's the North Korea when I was born, and the first education was human hate ideology. So we hated South Koreans, Americans. We didn't know that, but the government said that. And we also hated anti-socialism person, anti-socialism countries. So that is first my education when I was born. So that's why we played always war games with my friends. So that is growing up brainwash. And we believed always what government said that. And they also said to us, South Korea is America colony. And, the people still the hunger and they homeless. And America is a capitalism country. So capitalism is really bad because it's also same thing. They have no food and the homeless people and every street people is sleeping on the street. So we believed that. We believed that because we didn't get any information. But started in 1990s, government stopped our food because North Korea is still there is a food distribution country. There's only one country in our world, But early 1990s, they stopped our rice, and then they said to us, it is America problems. Because we wanted to buy food in outside the country, but America sanctions to us. So now we have a short food, but everyone is continuing to buy it. So that is all happened our lifetimes, not only early 1990s, but that is worse. And then people died of starvations, and we saw many dead bodies in street, train stations. And every day we woke up, we heard that which neighbors died of starvations, and their families separated each others. So I couldn't believe that. It is.
And what age were you here, sorry?
That time I was 25, 26
Okay.
ages. Yeah. And I was a high school teacher. So when I went to the school and, my children didn't arrived in school classroom, and children didn't listen to us. They just lie down in table, and also room is really quiet. Then we heard that their stomach it sounds. It was a really hard time, but I also kind of another is a brainwashed adult to my children. So I continue to push it to them. Why you didn't listen to me? Why you didn't bring your homework? But not only to that, after school, they also is kind of the first level work in farmer side or mountains. They're cleaning the road, street.
The children?
Yes, yeah. It's happening in North Korea. It's still happening in North Korea.
So the children were coming to school and they were unable to concentrate because they were so hungry, but then they'd finish school and be sent to forced labor in different kind of manual places.
Yes, yeah. It's still happening in North Korea.
What was the turning point for you to decide to escape?
So my turning point was 1996. My uncle died of starvation in front of me.
My God.
Yeah, but that time I didn't change my mind.
Wow.
Because still the brainwashed, still believed that it's government. But in 1997, my younger brother had problems. So that time he was joined the army. And then, he also kind of business work made money to government. But once the business was failed, because all countries collapsed down, so where is the money come from? So their business was collapsed down. But this is really political issues because they didn't pay the money to government. So after they just ran out, all group is run out. Then he came to my house. But after army, they came to my house and they just find out my younger brother.
So because he couldn't pay, they wanted to take him for something?
Yes, yeah.
Did you know what they would do to him?
That is political problems, could be they arrested and then sent to political prisons. So that's why the group members all ran out.
Right.
But so he came to home and he didn't stay at home and he slept in their friend's house. But North Korea system is the kind of 1984 is everyone is eye on who is stayed at someone's house or something that. So army came to my home and they before is my home areas telling to them, if you watched my younger brother and contacted to us. So all neighbors, all apartment is the all towns look after my house and also they looked after their friend's house too.
My God. So basically everybody around you was now looking for your brother to report him to the army.
Yes, yeah.
And you just said there, I think, a friend house. What do you mean by that? Sorry.
It's the school friend house. Yeah, that people, they finished the high school and then started the army 10 years.
Okay,
yes,
I see. So
yeah.
okay, right. So he basically ran away. So was that the point that you, okay, that's interesting because I thought you decided that North Korea, the way of life wasn't correct, but actually was it more serious because you were worried that your brother was going to be captured by the army and that's what made you decide to leave? You decided because your brother was in danger for political reasons that you and your brother should escape?
No, that time I didn't talk about it. So my brother is once arrested. In midnight somebody is knocked to our house, and then I opened the door. I was shocking because they arrested my younger brother, then already beaten to him. So He all body is swollen and is everywhere is blood. And then they came to my house until the beaten. It's early morning. So we have got 2 rooms. So they beaten is another room, and me and my father another
my God.
room.
So
and
they did it in your house. They didn't take him away. Oh,
yeah.
God.
And then we heard everything. We heard everything that. And the early morning, I think that was 5 a.m. They opened the door, and I was unspeakable. It's the already beaten to him, but and then in my home they beaten to him is 4 hours.
4 hours.
Yeah.
And how old was he at that point?
That time my younger brother was 22. That time was 20.
And so a group of grown men.
Yes, yeah, they all grown men. They maybe 30 or 35 or something that. So they broke his, the wood sticks.
Yeah.
So beaten to him.
Okay.
And then early morning they left my house because they arrested my younger brother and left home. So then me and my brother didn't chat any words. We knew that is what happened to my younger brother. And we knew that we didn't see my younger brother in future. So I think my father could be cried himself, but he didn't say any words for me. But 2 days after, when my younger brother left home, and then 2 days after, he came home again.
Mm.
He escaped again. He has chances, escaped or died. So it's 50-50, yeah. So he came to home again, and then my father told me that, leave this country, save your younger brother. Last time my father was illness and he couldn't move. So in 1998, it's 18th February, I left North Korea with my younger brother, and then I abandoned my illness father alone in cold dining room because my father's condition was still worse. So I couldn't wait my father's pathway because my younger brother still the dangerous way. So that is a turning point. Is my father. My father pushed to us, leave this country. But I didn't know what happened in my next chapter, and I didn't know there's China information. I didn't get any information. Just only left North Korea.
So how did you know what to do?
So that time, we only knew that is the China and North Korea border.
Right.
That is a Tumon River in North Hamgyong province. This one is why I knew that because I was the student. We usually first level in work year. So turning the 13, we left home and we stayed another is a farmer side. It's the spring is 40 or 45 days. In the farmer works. It's
Wow.
first labor. Yeah. And also the autumn is only 15 days. So we knew that is places where is the China and
So you'd done that kind of manual labor at a young age, so you knew where the border was to China. Yeah, that makes sense, because I was going to say, why did you not choose South Korea, for example? Because obviously it's
that is really dangerous. South Korea could be. I live in North, and the South Korea is a part, but North Korea we not to travel is freely. We need a travel document always.
Right.
Yeah. So when we visited grandma house in holiday times, and we also permission school first, and then we get the travel document. Adults get the travel document. If you don't get the travel document, you are not allowed.
Even just to move around in North Korea, not even to go anywhere, just to
North Korea is
wow.
Yeah,
So wow.
Today I come from Manchester to London, but I didn't get any permissions.
No.
I don't have any travel document. But North Korea always get the travel document.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's still the happen. So they have no movement in North Korea. So in 1990, when it's stop the rise and then electricity is gone. So after is many car is kind of trouble is issues. So we call it this car is a service car. So we paid to them cigarette or alcohol, and then they put to us some areas. So
is this how you got to the border? You called the service car, paid them in secret, and they drove you to the border? Because they must have known what you were going to do.
Yes, we know. But
so it's quite dangerous for you, because if they then reported you...
Yeah, that is really dangerous. Is before, but after is the Kim Il-sung is death, and then stabbings. So lots of service cars come out because people changed the clothes to the food is some areas. It's lots of kind of business happening in North Korea. So me and my younger brother separated journeys because my younger brother is always hide his work in railways or sometimes catch is the trains. But me is different, is a service car. But when we cross the border areas, they have got one is army places. So this place is checked to everyone. So that time is everyone is is a travel to somewhere. So I also told to them is I want to change it. That time is I have got some is a PC in my bag. So my journey took 3 days, and then I arrived in border areas 21st, and then my younger brother arrived 22nd.
Wow. Okay, so tell us about crossing the border into China. Were you scared?
Of course, it's scared. And the first time was we didn't know how we crossed the border, and we haven't got any is brokers. Just only me and my younger brother.
Oh, so when you say brokers, that's something that people do. They pay a broker to get you across the border.
Yes, yeah.
But you guys were just you two.
Just only
and nothing, just the big outdoors.
Yeah, just nothing. But I just only believed my younger brother because he's strong and he also already joined the army. So it was February. The north and China is really cold, and the river is already frozen. So it's a 2 month river is not this long part. Some areas only 2 meters, or short is 1 meters. This is North Korea, and 1 meter is the river side, and then China.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really close. It's Yellow River is part is 40 meter or something that, but the Tumon River is not too much. It's far. It's from North Korea to China. So in 2 a.m. we crossed the border, but when we crossed the halfway, and then North Korean soldiers find out to us, and then they shout and also gunfire to us.
So they were trying to shoot you?
Yes, yeah.
So at that point, when you say it was very cold and frozen, were you wading in the river, or were you walking on the frozen ice to get across?
Yeah, just is a walk, yeah.
Wow, so you're walking on the slippery, slidey ice, and they're firing at you from behind you.
Yeah.
God, that must have been
That
terrifying.
is not only me, all North Koreans, they do that. So I think it's winter cross the border. It was lucky because it's ice, but summertime is, there is water, and sometimes, the lots of flood is come out, but we didn't swimming. Yes, so
and did they try to chase you and catch you across the border, or once you're crossed, can they not follow you?
Yeah, they not follow because we already is halfway, and then almost is in China.
And they're not allowed to go across.
Yes, but they gunfire to us.
God.
So I was frozen.
Yeah.
I was frozen, but my younger brother holding my hand. Sister, wake up, wake up. God. Yeah. And then after we already arrived in China, and then this is ice is slide is melt, and then I just all bodies inside the water.
God, so it must have been freezing.
Yeah, can't believe it's all bodies freezing. I can't explain it how that times I felt.
So you fell through the ice into the freezing water, but now you're over into China. But I assume this is a very rural countryside area that you've arrived in.
But it's China and North Korea is different. When it's riverside, it's North Korea also many people lived in riverside.
Yeah.
China is too.
Oh, so when you got there, there was houses and places. Oh, wow. So what did you do? Like, were the people there immediately, or?
No, we arrived in there, and after I found out that is one house, the light is on. So we just knocked the door, and then this man is opened the door, and we entered there. So this man told to us he already heard this gunfire.
Yeah.
So he talked about somebody is across the border. So that time is how many people crossed the border to China? Yeah, I can't believe that.
Is it a lot?
Lots, because of stabbings.
Yeah.
The family members are stabbings. So many people cross the border and they need some rice. And
So the man whose door you knocked on, who lives on the border, was he used to seeing North Koreans
Yes,
crossing quite frequently? So he wasn't so shocked. It's something he's seen lots of times.
Yeah,
Wow,
he never shocked. I was shocked.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I was shocked. He never shocked. And then he gave to us his nice meals,
Oh.
white rice and meat and eggs. It was paradise,
Wow, yeah.
I didn't know that the chapter could be my life is hell, but I never talked about the next. Just only this moment was paradise.
Yeah.
Because in North Korea, white rice means only Kim Il-sung's birthday we eat every
wow.
year.
Wow, so just plain white rice was a luxury.
Yeah, that is a luxury. It's, the
Wow.
Kim Il-sung dream was that one day my country people eat white rice. But he didn't make his dreams. Yeah, so North Korea is white rice is our big dreams.
God. So you'd got to this man's house and he gave you an amazing meal. That's a nice thing to do. Was he helpful? Did he help you?
Oh, I don't know. That is really nice, man. I first met the Chinese Koreans. First time was really nice.
And could you communicate?
Because it's the lots of Chinese Korean people lives in near the
Right.
in Chinese border areas.
So he could speak your language?
Yes, yeah.
I
But
understand.
different accent, but it's the same language. Yeah. But that I never talked about the Chinese language or something that never talked about that. Just only I knew only Korean language, so that's why. And he also Koreans. So first time was really nice, but after we finished these meals, and then he told me that this is not safe places because already gunfires are happening in North Korea. So could be China is police researched these areas.
And what happens in the case that Chinese police find escaping North Koreans? What do?
They send back to us North Korea.
What, just make them walk back across the border?
No, they put the person in prison and then send back to North Korea because China is joined United Nations refugee issues in 1984. But North Korea and China, they made another agreement. Because two is both is communism countries, So they made that is if someone is across the border, we are not accepted to them the refugees, send back to them because they are all illegal people.
And then if China does send the North Korean refugees back to North Korea, what will happen to them in North Korea?
And then we stayed in they sent to us prisons. Could be executions or political prisons.
Okay. Okay, so you understand now that the place that you are in China is very dangerous. Even though you've had this meal that was amazing, what had to happen next?
So then he told me that his friend is in city town, because that is a Tumon River, so Tumon areas. So I contacted to him. So I believed to him because he gave to us, the white rice, nice meals. I believed to him, but his friend is human traffickers.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah. So could be he works with his friends too, because they selling to us and under lots of money.
So do you think he sold you and your brother to his friend?
Yes, yeah, but that times I didn't.
course, you
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
didn't know. So once he planned to come to this house, and then we moved to his house. And after he told me that you married a Chinese man.
You must marry a Chinese.
Yes, yeah. So first times I denied it to him. I didn't marry it. I want to only save my younger brother, but I don't care any works, housekeeper, restaurants,
Yeah.
any work I want to do.
Yeah.
But he angry to me. He angry to me, and then he said that I maybe contacted you, Chinese police. Then you both sent back to North Korea.
So basically, your choice was you do what he says, which is be forced to marry a Chinese man, or he'll send you back to North Korea where you know you might be executed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is really scared for me.
course.
You know, North Korea, who somebody left these countries, which is anti-socialism. So they have to kill it to us and send the political prisons. And you know, my younger brother is already
Of course,
dangerous
yeah.
in North Korea. And my father last wish was to save my younger brother. So that's why I abandoned my illness father.
Yeah. And when he was saying that you would be sold into marriage, what would happen to your brother?
So first time is that I thought about that if I married a Chinese man, he could be saved my younger brothers too. Because I believed all people that, yeah. But that is not happened to me. You know, the Chinese man told me that I bow to you, only you. I never bow to your brother.
Oh. So where was your brother at this point?
Yeah, so then my younger brother told me that, sister, you have to go. You have to save somewhere. Just live somewhere. So we separated each others. Then after I heard that my younger brother also sent back to North Korea.
Oh, God.
So I still don't know my younger brother survived or not. But my hope is never give up.
So that was the last time you saw your younger brother
Yes,
when you
yeah.
separated?
So still my younger brother age is 22 in my head.
Yeah. And it's so sad that your father's wish was for you two to escape, but especially to save the brother. And then, of course, he was sent back to Korea. And you had been taken by the person who had bought you, who then trafficked you and sold you to somebody that would be your husband. Is that correct?
I don't say that is a husband because it's
Yeah,
you know
of course,
yeah.
yes.
When I arrived his house, I was shocking because his house is almost collapsed down, you know, and also toilet is outside. Is toilet also almost collapsed down, and this smell came to the home inside the home.
Okay.
And its floor is really dirty. Oh my God, I can't believe that North Korean people is really clean, you know, yeah. And they also clean the house every day. But house was, oh my God, I never see this kind of houses in my life.
So had he, what was he, a farmer?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he's a farmer.
Yeah.
So was it a countryside, rural area again?
Yeah, it's countryside.
And had he bought you because he wanted you to tidy his house and keep it clean? And was there just one female, which was you, or was there lots of ladies, or how did it work there?
You know, when I arrived at his house, and then I met his mother. So his mother told me that I bought you, and you know that I borrowed lots of money.
Wow.
So you can work outside, then pay this money. So first time is I didn't understand what mean that, because this, you know, the broker told me that I married this man. But this mother told me that I bought you.
Right.
So I was confusing the first time. And then next day I understood, you know, that I arrived at his house is 10 p.m. It's late night. But early morning is 4 a.m. His mother told me that wake up. You just walk outside.
Wow. So you'd been bought as kind of like slave labor, basically.
Yes, slave labor. I just it's all North Korean females kind of sex slavery and also slavery labors in China.
Oh, God, it's awful, awful.
So first time I couldn't believe, and then I really disappointed. I don't know how can I describe this word, but then I found out that is another females, North Korean females. They also kind of human trafficking this village. So that's times 5 females in there, but we couldn't communication each others because all is the neighbors and the towns. They look after to us. It's a similar North Korean system.
I see. And did everybody know that you were North Korean? So was it illegal for you to be there? So the farmer should have sent you back to North Korea.
That is illegal. That is illegal. So that's why every day they just brainwashed to us.
Right.
You know?
Because they could get in trouble if they were caught. Right.
If you escaped this town, we just maybe arrested you and we killed you or we left you, but nobody know about that. Okay. Or we sent to you China police stations and sent back to you North Korea. They are another brainwashed to us.
God, the thing that's so sad, Jihyun, about listening to this is you escaped from North Korea into almost a worse situation. It sounds awful, like that you'd been basically, you'd escaped somewhere that you thought was going to be safe, and then you got immediately human trafficked. Yeah,
that is, the only few hours paradise for me, that is mere. That is only with my younger brother.
Yeah.
Then after, it's still this slavery life. And, the every morning is the neighbors is told to us, are you still hungry? And then, that they bring some vegetables. Do you need this one? Do you eat? Or something that it's discriminations, lots. I was really angry to that because, when I arrived at this village, and then some Chinese Koreans, they really lack education and they didn't know that it's a Chinese characters or something that. But I knew it's better than to them. I knew more is a Chinese characters, So I didn't speak English, but I understand that they just is characters. So which is what kind of shop or something that. But there's discriminations for me.
So they saw you as a kind of lower class citizen or so what was the general life on the farm, from what it sounds like you're describing, was just non-stop work, is that correct?
Yeah, non-stop work. It started at springs, the farmer side, they started growing up is, the lots of things. So we early morning work is 5 a.m. and until the dark days. Always is work. And, the once it's really hot days, so it's lunchtime, people stop the work, it's really hot. So when I came to home, and, that is, mother is alone in lunch, her. But when I came to home, she hid everything and then gave to me only rice and kimchi.
Wow.
Yes, unbelievable. They never accept me, their family members. They only look like me as slavery workers or sex slaveries.
Yeah, and when you say there about that, there's obviously this next topic is very dark and unpleasant, and if there's any questions that you don't want to answer, it's fine. But when you mentioned sex slavery, am I correct in thinking that you became pregnant, didn't you, during this time?
Yes, so, the first time is I wanted to give up my life. I lost my younger brother and I abandoned my father. So lost all families. And then China's life was hell, is kind of another hell. How could I survive? But after I found out that I was pregnant. But the first time is I really angry for me. That if this child born in China could be this child also same life for me is a slavery life. But after I want to change my mind, this child could be my last family. And this child could be giving me another hope and opportunity. So then I changed my mind. But China is the same is the system is in North Korea. They never allowed a foreign child in birth to China. So I was illegal and I was North Korean. So one day is a village they have got a female captains. It's the same as the system in North Korea. She came to me and she told me that you just abortion this child because we never accept your child.
So she told you had to abort the child?
Yeah. So I say that no. Then, I wear big clothes because nobody find out me. And I never gave up my work early morning until the dark days.
Even when you were heavily pregnant?
Yes.
Did the farmer, the father of the child, and his mother, did they know you were pregnant?
Yeah, they know, but they never care about me.
Okay.
If I didn't work outside, they didn't give me rice and vegetables. So
even though you were pregnant, they
never.
Oh God.
And also, they not give to me any proper shoes. I always wear the slipper.
Oh my God.
Because in case I escaped.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in winter, the winter is North China is lots of snow, but I wear the slipper because they never gave to me any proper shoes and also any proper clothes. It's always second-hand clothes, something that, yeah.
When you look back on that and think about them, because when you tell me the story, it sounds so cruel. Their treatment of you sounds so cruel. How do you think about that now? Like, do you think they just saw you as a less valuable human? How could they possibly treat someone so badly?
But in North Korea also, I was not human, kind of prisoners, brainwashed child is hard life. So in China, it's the same thing. But only they have got rice. That is only different. But this rice is not free. I always work outside. Yeah. But if I didn't pregnant, could be I want to suicide myself.
But the sense of having something to live for gave you another lease of life. And then, how on earth did you give birth in that situation?
In China, I was illegal, so
Yes.
I never went to the hospital.
No.
I never, the kind of X-ray. I never get any medicines. Yeah. So I always hide my is pregnant until my child the birth. So my child was born in 20th March, but that time it's still cold in China. So, it's the first days I was it's a stomach ache, but first times I didn't know that is the started is the childbirth, but that is the ache is long time. So then I just remembered, that is could be my child's born, but nobody helped me. I only myself illness is 12 hours is my labor.
Well,
That's
where were you when it was happening?
I stayed in just small rooms, but it's man's mother. She never care about me. It's worse. So it's 12 hours, and then after that is in villages old lady. China and North Korea still the day birth in at home. So kind of is what said is females they helped that. So it's old lady. She came to my house because she heard that I just started. Yeah. So she helped me. But it's the first time, and I didn't know how is it pains, and I miss my mother. I really miss my mother. But after when my child was born, and then I holding him, that was another happiness moment, because I have family now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like almost an impossible amount to take in for a young girl. How did you live? Because now presumably you couldn't just work every day in the way that you had worked before, because you have a young baby that needs to be taken care of.
But 7 days after, I continued to work because nobody gave to me any rice, any vegetables. And when I birth my child, and usually it's in Asians when birth child after we drink kind of a sweet soup. But their families never gave to me anything.
So it was just straight back to work.
Yes, yeah. So that time is when my son was born, and I gave to him his name. That is Iron. Strong life in China. So family members, they don't like that. But that is my child, not their child. That's my child. So I always work with my child.
So you're carrying the child while you work in the
back
fields?
to my child.
As a young baby? Wow.
I continue to work because this Chinese man is is alcohol addict and is a game addict. So he didn't work outside. So that's why the family members hate me. They hate their son and also hate me. Could be my son was born 3 months after his 100 days.
Yeah.
And then one night he just drink lots of drink and came to my house.
The farmer?
Yeah, farmer.
He was drunk?
Yeah. And then he said that I want to sold to my son because he left lots of gambling's money to another person. So that time, the China is still the similar North Korea system, and it's many people, they need a child, it's especially boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my son is that time is a really healthy boy, So many people, they need that. But when I heard that, after I just used to stand up and holding the knife in my hand, then I just shouted to this man, if you touched my son, I want to kill you. That is the first time I fight to evil in front of me. That is the first time. So then my son is alone in this room. I always with him walk outside because I really scared.
And I'm aware at some point that you left the farm.
When my son was born, and then 1 year after, my village is 5 North Korean females stayed there. So before the New Year, Chinese police came to this village, and they arrested all 5 females,
including you.
Yes, including me and including my child too. So I was really scared, and not only me, so all is females scared. So they could be sent back to North Korea. So we first stayed in the Chinese police stations 2 days, almost 3 days. But really scared moment is my child is just not 1 year old now. And we have got the napping, something like that. So I just always wash off his the napkins everywhere. But they didn't say any words. So after his police told me that if you send back to North Korea, you couldn't with your child. So you have to sold this child and then pay to us.
Oh my
so
God.
Could be I didn't send back to North Korea.
But you have to sell the child to bribe the police to stay in China.
Then this money is paid to the police, and then they didn't send back to North Korea. Unbelievable. Because they are also human. They also somebody is fathers.
Yeah.
But this my child.
Yeah.
He's not his products. He's a human. But they never accept them. I'm really angry to that. But they didn't send back to North Korea to us.
Okay.
Because they need money. So after they put the tours is a house and then lock the door. So paid 5,000 yuans every house. So I think it's 7 days they just stayed in every houses. They just look after to us. Then they went to the home because it started the New Year. So next day, because in New Year days train is not working. So next day, I escaped this village with my child. But I didn't know that any person in China. I only knew that is human traffickers. So I had no choice. So I went to his house.
The farmer?
Yeah, no farmer.
The human trafficker, the first human trafficker.
Yes.
He was the only person that you knew? Wow.
Yeah, I only knew that.
My God.
But I wanted to survive with my child.
Yeah,
so I went to his house. And then I just explained everything, what's happened in my village. So I just begged to him, you just lend me some house and then I want to do everything. I want to save because I want to responsibility my child. So then he said that in China, if you rent house, somebody get his real ID card. But I haven't got an ID card. So he contacted again this farmer. So he came to me again. He joined me. That is still the horrible, still the darkness life is happening. But I have no choice because my child, my child. So, we left the village and I stayed at another places. And I did everything. The maid is Korean dishes in our home and growing up beans, the Sprite and sold to outside. And also, I was a teacher in North Korea, so math science is good, it continued good. So I just is a kind of illegal academics in night times. Is the Chinese Korean student. So I just earn the money, but I never get money in my hand because this money is always taken out, this money, and then used gambling.
So you're basically back into the... So how was it that you ended up being arrested and sent back to North Korea?
So in China, it's the same as North Korea systems. Every Chinese people look is around who is North Koreans or something like that. So they reported to us. So
and why do they do it? Do they get money if they...
Yes. It's government always. This is government paid money. So that's why in China, lots of human traffickers and lots of that is kind of these spies. Because North Koreans selling the human trafficking, they earn the money or report to police and they also earn the money. Yeah. So this money is everywhere is high.
Okay.
And the elite people could be high prices. Yeah. So, the last year is one North Korean, so he stayed in Chinese prison, but he escaped in prison after the price is high.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's like on America when they have the wanted list, it's that people can earn a lot of money by... Okay. So that you eventually were caught by people spying on you and reporting you, is that correct?
Yes, they reported to me Chinese police. So nighttime is, the 10 Chinese authorities came to my house and they arrested me in front of my child.
Did they take your child too?
No, that is honestly, they just asked me that you back to North Korea with your child or without your child, because he's not born in North Korea. So I said that without my child,
that must have been terrible.
Because I knew that if with my child, North Korea never accept my child because he's born in China and the father is Chinese.
So you left the child with the Chinese farmer? Yeah,
I left him because China is better than in North Korea. They have got rice, so could be better than North Korea life. I know I was heartbreaking, but mother had no choice.
And how old was the child at this point?
That time is my son only 5.
Oh, God. Okay. That must have been an impossible decision.
Yes, and I didn't know that could be, I want to reunite my son.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know.
So you were taken back to North Korea, and then were you imprisoned?
Yes, yeah. Everyone is stayed in prison. Everyone is stayed in prison, and then they just is divided. Who is met the South Korean is the pastor in China? Is they sent to the political prisons, and
Wow.
who is the journey? The South Korea journeys, but they failed, and they stayed in political prisons.
So they basically check, they have a system of how bad your crime is based on where you went to or what you tried to do.
Yeah, because it's China, they just is every information is sent to North Korea. They all write is, so we never lied to them. Never lied to them.
So would you have ever been freed, or was your prison sentence for the rest of your life?
No, I never thought about that.
Right.
Because it's in prison. I didn't meet any lawyer,
So there's no trial,
Yes,
you don't get told anything, you just
yeah.
get sent straight directly to prison.
Yeah, directly.
Wow.
And I didn't know how many years I stayed in prisons.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
That is all. It could be with death, we could be just leave this prison. So, when we stayed in prison, we worked in mountains, farmer areas, but always work without the shoes.
So tell me how you got to the point where you decided to escape again. Because this is a point that I think is really amazing, is because everything you've just told us on the journey so far is, I think it would be hard to keep hope or even to keep trying.
It's, the prison is, I almost dead, my leg had problems.
Yes, tell us about that. Was it a snake bite or an infection?
No, that is we always work in outside is without the shoes, but North Korea is not pavement,
Yes.
Yeah, so the stones and the glasses, animal feed, everywhere. So we didn't know I didn't know what kind of virus affected me. But the leg was swollen and dark purples.
So your leg, it just happened suddenly, your leg had some kind of infection?
Yeah, it's swollen, and then I just, my cut off the trousers.
Oh, what, because it was too tight?
Yeah, too tight.
Oh,
and
God.
halfway I couldn't feel it. So my head I wanted to go toilet, but I already did. Because it's halfway.
Oh, so you couldn't feel anything from your waist downwards?
Yeah.
Wow, so something serious had happened.
That's serious, but they didn't give to me any medicines.
So even though you could show that your leg was swollen purple and you were saying you couldn't feel anything.
Yeah.
So what did they want you to do?
And I stayed in prison is 7 days, but after my head changed, my scale changed, everything changed, and then another person told me that, my body smell is dead body person's smell.
Oh my God. And so you were in a room with other people?
Yeah,
and they
because
said,
it's yellow, it's disgusting waters came out
pus.
Yeah,
okay.
came out. So it is horrible.
Yeah, of course.
Horrible. But I never give up. I only is in prison when I sent back to North Korea. My hope, my strength is that one day I want to reunite my son. Mm-hmm. That is only I remember it. So I never talked about it. My situations, I have to survive. I want to unite my son. My son is my last family. I never gave up. Just only that. Mm. This is survived me in prison. And then, they said that you cannot die in prison. You died outside anyway. So they just kicked me.
Oh, so they thought you were going to die, so they just released you from prison?
Yeah, because I almost dead, yeah.
Oh, that is so awful.
Oh, so awful, yeah. It's not only me. When I kick out this prison with another girl, is the same my ages, she is menstruation, starving, She always shouting, give me more food. So we released together, but she died 3 days after.
So you were just outside the prison and you had this terrible infection and she died from malnutrition?
Yes, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I just controlled my mind. I never put the negative in here. Hoping, future I want to join my son. He growing up, universities, everything is hoping. Yeah.
So what can you do from that point? You've been kicked out of prison. They've essentially released you because they think you're about to die. How do you possibly plan an escape from a country in that condition?
No, but the first 2 months, I never thought about that. Is that I escaped North Korea because I couldn't walk. Is it summer? Summer continued yellow. Is the disgusting waters came out.
The pus.
And so I couldn't believe I would just to work in future or something. But 2 months after could be my condition is a little bit better, and then I just try to think I want to escape to North Korea again. But how? No money. My condition is bad, and this system is changed. Not in 1998. 2004 is a totally different changed system. Then I want to find out that is human traffickers. So second time is myself human trafficking to China.
Wow. So at this point, you allowed yourself to be human trafficked because you needed to get into China to eventually find a way to be reunited. I mean, it's the sense of that. Yeah, it's incredible because you'd been trafficked once. It was terrible and awful. And the fact that you were willing to allow it to happen again because it would bring you one step closer to finally getting to your son.
Yeah. So I never regret my choice.
Yeah.
Because that could be close to my son.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have to escape the country, North Korea first.
So you allowed yourself to be trafficked across the border. And then take us through the next part of your life there, the next part when you'd returned to China with the human traffickers.
When I with the human traffickers, not only me, this journey is another girl, the 20s girl and the old man, because it's a human...
Old men too, so it's not just women.
Yeah.
It's not just for sex trafficking, it's any people.
No, that man is visited his relatives, but they paid money to broker.
I see.
Yeah, so second time, that I saw that it's North Korea. Human traffickers work with is army. So because it's army military also not limited food. So they just cross the border to us and earn the money. So they work together. So they have the human traffickers work with these military soldiers, and then they night times is bring it to us, and then we cross the border. So when we cross the border, everyone can't speak Chinese. So we just worked in mountain areas because we can't work in the road areas.
Yes, because people are looking for you to report you to earn money. And is your leg still bad at this point?
I know. So when I left North Korea, put the plastic is my leg, and then I put some shoelace in here. Wow. And after wearing the shoes and then shoelace put there, so cross the river. I didn't took out my shoes. I just it was November. Ice is almost this frozen. So when you're in water, just your body is just freezing. Yeah. But I never care. If I didn't cross this border, I didn't met my son. Just only talked about my son. And when I crossed the border and walked in mountain areas, I never sat down. I knew that if I sat down, then I couldn't stand up.
Oh God!
So
was it painful?
It's pain. Yeah, it's still the pain. Yeah, still pain. Yeah.
And did the traffickers know you were in this?
No.
Were you hiding it from them?
Yeah, I hide everything.
Do you think they wouldn't have accepted you if you were?
Yeah, because if I told to him, he not allowed me.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. So everything is hide. Everything is hide. So then, we arrived near another Chinese broker house. So this is long, is the pathways. So we have to that is on the taxi. So the China's taxi drivers usually spy. So it's a later time is 4 different people is on the taxi. So taxi drivers asked us lots of questions. So they can't speak English, speak Chinese. So I only spoke Chinese.
And is that because you learned from your previous experience?
Yes,
I see. Yeah.
So I spoke to him. That is my husband, and and the younger lady is my sister, but she's mute. And that is my father, but they both growing up in Korean village, and they just lack of education, so they can't speak Chinese. But that's true. Is many Chinese Korean people speak Chinese not well. Then he asked me, but why you speak Chinese is really well? So I said, I graduated high school. And then he said that it's late times why all families move to some area. And then, I just showed to him, just only here, I walked in mountains and the snake is bite me. So now we went to the hospital. So he saw my leg. So that time it's dark purples. So then, I quickly just drive.
Wow, that's fast thinking from you. Wow.
Yeah, so then we arrived at Chinese broker house. But after North Korean broker is angry to me because I had a lot of communications with the taxi driver because he knew that is a Chinese system. Then I explained everything that. And after they laughing. And I sat down and then I just everything is put that. And everyone is shocking.
So you revealed your leg to the group?
They saw my leg. Why did you hide? How did you walk? But when I sat down and then I didn't stand up. And after I told the broker, I had a child in here. I wanted to contact him, but he said, no, you already promised to us human trafficking here. So next morning, I woke up, and then, the young lady is already gone.
Wow. They've already been sold.
Yeah, already sold. And then North Korean broker told me that I talked about it all right. Because if last night on the taxi, you didn't speak Chinese, could be we all now is in prison. But you saved my life, also you saved my family life in North Korea. So you just contacted your son. So I got only one number, his grandma's house number. And then I just quickly dial, and I asked to her, my son is in there. So then my son got his phone, but he didn't answer off phone. And I contacted him again, and he off phone again.
He hung up the phone.
Yeah. And the third time, I just is on phone, and son is mom. And he said, mom, and cried, and then off. So room is really quiet, and everyone is heard my son's crying. So at that moment is really silent. And then his man told me that I didn't, sold human trafficking. You have to go. You have to meet your son because you saved my life. So today I want to save your life. So I really thank you for these traffickers,
So he believed that your actions in the taxi had saved his life.
Yeah.
And because of that, he wanted to save your life. And he released you from the human trafficking contract and encouraged you to find your son. Did you?
I wanted to immediately to meet my son, but my condition was really bad. Could be my son was shocking. So, I stayed in my mother's relative's house in China. It's 2 months. And then when I was in recovery, and after...
So your leg healed in that period?
Yes, because it's the relatives gave to me, it's, the medicines.
Okay.
Yes. And then I went to this village. I didn't contact to them because I wanted again about the slavery. Yeah, I only just my son. I only need my son. So I just hide everything, and then I went to this village. So I saw that it's my son alone in play in outside. So I just pick up him.
Wow, so you went in disguise, you saw your son playing outside, and you walked up and you just grabbed him.
Yeah, just grabbed him. But, I was another heartbreaking. My son was look like that homeless child.
Yeah.
They never care about my son. Dirty clothes and dirty hand. He also kind of managed his hunger always because they didn't give to him another is proper food. Because they hate me, also hate my son. But he's the grandchild,
Yeah.
They never care about her.
Did he recognize you?
Yes, yeah.
And did he want to go with you?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I was first time it's heartbreaking, but when I holding him is my arms, that is all over the world is in my arm. That's a happiness moment. I never forget.
And the thought, standing there with him, with that moment, it must have also been frightening because if people had arrived and seen you and recognized you, the farmer, his mother, the people around that had reported you before,
Yeah.
you had to get out of there quickly, I guess.
Yeah, immediately. I just quickly, and then I went to the relative's house and washed to him, and I gave to him meals. He's also hunger. But I without to him. The reasons that China is better than North Korea, it's a lot of rice, but they never gave to him any proper food. So after that, he diary, because that is hunger people when you eat. It's also heartbreaking moment. And then I decided that I have to leave this country because China is not a safe country. If I repatriated to North Korea, I never see my son again.
Yeah. So how did you get to the UK?
First time is I never talked about that is I wanted to go England. I wanted to go South Korea. But our journey was failed. Every is the ways. We went to the Qingdao, but we didn't enter the South Korea embassy. And the Shanghai is the same. And then Beijing is too, because it's in front of embassy, is Chinese police in there.
Wow.
And they check the ID card or passport.
Wow,
but
okay.
we had not. And then we met 9 North Korean refugees in front of the Beijing embassy. And then we decided to go to Ulaanbaatar. But we didn't know where is the Ulaanbaatar. But everyone is never give up. Because we had no choice. Stayed in China, we could be sent back to North Korea. Or cross the border Ulaanbaatar, we could be success. We just halfways. So we went to the Naemongo and crossed the Chinese border. It's really high fences, strong fencer. But we crossed the border. But I also find out the Chinese police car came to me. But another North Koreans rescues to us. Then we arrived in Mongolia, but we didn't find anybody, and we stayed in desert 3 days. But after,
with your son too?
Yes, yeah. Then we had no rice and no water and cold. So my son is first dying. So I had no choice. My son could be not died in this desert. So we escaped, crossed the border again and in China. Went to China again. And I stayed in China 2 years, I selling this Korean dishes, something that. And then I met the American pastor and he sent to us United Nations. But I didn't know that time is United Nations. What means United Nations? What do they do? So I thought that they could be another brokers.
So they could traffic you again?
Yes. So they told me that which country do you want to go? South Korea, America, or England, European countries. So South Korea, America journey is still dangerous, and we didn't know that this journey is a success or not. So I chose European countries. The reasons that could be I sent back to North Korea. Risk is less than South or America journeys.
It's further away, yes.
Yeah, so I arrived in England, but I knew only England. I never heard United Kingdom or Britain.
Okay.
England. Yeah. But after I was really confusing, some people told me that welcome to United Kingdom or welcome to Britain. So, that's broccoli is right to me. They never land me England.
Oh, I see. So you thought they just sent you to a different place?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
where you'd lived in your life up to that point, the kind of the North Korea and the China, and going to places like desert and Ulaanbaatar, very kind of rural areas. And what year did you arrive in England?
I didn't know much about the England.
Yeah. What did you think when you arrived? What did you think? What was your impression of it?
Just I only talked about it could be safe, my family.
Of course, yeah.
Because I only thought about the families first. Safe family, safe some places. Just only talked about. So England could be safe to us, but that is we didn't know it's safe or not first time because I didn't know any speak English words or so I can't read everything and I never heard the refugees or asylum seekers. It's every word is unfamiliar language for me.
Of course. You couldn't speak any English then. But when you arrived in the airport or the first time, which city did you arrive in? London?
Oh, yeah, Heathrow Airport. Yeah.
And did it look different? Were you surprised by the city, the smells and...
Oh, that is different. When I arrived at Heathrow Airport, I talked about the England, only white people. Yeah. But the airport is different. I saw that all world is all different people in there. So surprised. Wow. Because in China and North Korea, they allowed only day people. They never allowed foreign or foreigner or something. But that is the first moment I saw that, oh my God, that is different. And then, I found that the newspaper, but everyone is put that it's been, oh my God, it's another shocking issue.
Because in Korea, you weren't allowed to put the newspaper in the bin, I guess. Yeah.
Never do that.
Wow.
If you just put the bin, your whole family's public executions or send the political prisons. So we never talked about that.
Wow. And I know that you've had a fantastic life since arriving in England. You've been here a long time now. You've had a second child, I believe.
I have now 3 children.
3 children,
yeah.
Wow. And you told me as we were setting up that you'd met the Prime Minister, is that correct?
Oh, yes, yeah. The first time when I arrived in the UK, I didn't speak any English, so it was really difficult life first times, but then I started learning my English. The reasons that my children growing up, they go to school, and I wanted to communication with my children. So if I don't know English, could be I lost my family again. So I really hard times. It's still the problems, but learning English, and then I started my human rights activities work. The reasons that is my old son asked me that when he was 12, Mommy, why did you abandon me and leave me? But I never abandoned my child. I never leave my child. I loved him, so that's why I survived to this in prison. But this question has changed my life. The many voiceless people needing my voice, especially my child. So then I started my human rights work and helping many refugees in the UK, because refugees arrived in the UK, they can't speak English. So I just opened the English class and learning to English, helping the social care, everything that. And then 2020, when this COVID happened, and then, in a home, I always heard that many innocent people died of this virus. So I was really shocking, heartbreaking, because already experienced in North Korea. That times I didn't do anything. But in the UK, it's different. So I wanted to do something. So first time is I want donations, PPE to care homes, because at that time care homes really weak, really, the walls, because it's all the people there. So I donations, PPE, 7 care homes in Manchester areas.
Wow.
And after they replied to us, refugees arrive my country and the refugees help to us. So this message is changed my second chapter. In the UK also many voiceless people and somebody need our helps. Then I stand up with local elections, because it's a local councillor is not too much politics. This is kind of community leaders.
Yes.
We helping the people. So I thought that, okay, I want to repay back Because when I arrived in the UK, they welcomed me and they helped me lots of that. So I want to repay back this thanks to my local people. So I stand up the local elections, but I was failed. But that's also amazing experience. Yeah, so I never give up my politician life too. And last year I met Prime Minister and also this year too is Prime Minister too, and also the Majesty King Charles III. Yeah. That is my life is every time is changing and growing up, and also I've read lots of history book, because I didn't know there is much more histories because North Korea is always limited. So I continued learning my educations, improved my skills. So
I mean, listening to your story, Jihyun, it's genuinely amazing, and it's amazing to hear that you've got such a strong mind. Like your focus from being in all these places, but being able to push past the mental pain of losing your brother, the physical pain of having some kind of horrific leg infection, to get back to your son, and then to get to this country, and then to turn all of that into a positive for people who were in a similar situation to you is so inspiring to hear. And I guess my final question that I wanted to ask you is, when you look back on your life and all the unbelievable experiences you've had, what do you think it's taught you? What's something that you've learned from all of this?
Before I started my activities work, I was always sad and painful. Yet it's always this kind of negative things from in front of me. But after that, I changed my mind. My father's courage saved my life today. My younger brother courage also saved today's my life. And my son, without my son, could be I am not here. So this is all people always with me. They give to me powers. Stand off. They will give up. They give to me always these messages. But nowadays many people, they can't listen to them. So that is first I've learned that from another people. So this is positive messages. So we always got positive messages from another people. But nowadays, the many people, they can't communicate each others. So, and also they can't trust themselves. So if
can't be truthful to themselves.
Yeah. So if you don't trust you don't trust another people. You don't trust the person's respect. So that is I've all learned that. So I am really thankful my father, my younger brother, and my son, because nowadays my strong the emotions they all gave to me, not my alone. They all gave to me. So I want to tell this world, survivors and the victims, not weakness people. We are always strong, and we teaching to you what is freedoms and what is happiness moment. So we are not discrimination each others. We are human. We are human.
It's a very inspiring message. It's been fantastic to meet you, and it's a brilliant story. And thank you so much for sharing it with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We made a deal to each other that first day that no matter what happened, we wouldn't eat each other. Because Robin, of course, was not a family member. And we assured him that we would die together.
He thought you might eat him?
He thought we might eat him.